I'm TV's John Stamos. I've been hired to play the great Jack Perry, the creator of Zeme. This one's a challenge.
The tagline is simple, and if John can remember that, he's got a shot. Always local, always free.
What's first?
Always local,
Always where?
local,
Always what?
free.
Zeme is America. There, I said it.
Zeme, always local, always free.
When I take a roll on, I take it head on. Boom.
ABC 7 News starts with First Alert weather.
The Suncoast and much of Florida getting hammered by Tropical Storm Debby as the storm keeps tracking up the coast. Dramatic video and pictures coming into our newsroom now all day long, actually, from across the Suncoast as Debby makes impact. Look at those huge waves crashing along Bradenton Beach.
Yeah, and these pictures coming to us from Northport. Roads already flooded, and that was earlier today, only getting worse now. This showing the area between Eager and Grove Street along US 41. Further to the north, same story. Here's video of Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa. Look at how high those waves are crashing.
Wow.
Good evening, and welcome to ABC 7 News at 6:30. I'm Karen Kim.
And I'm Narisa Lamis, and we've got a lot to get into this half hour. And we want to kick it all off, of course, with our team coverage on Tropical Storm Debby. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan and meteorologist Leslie Lacey. We got the big dogs in the house tracking the storm for us. What can you tell us?
I can tell you this, it's already been an active day. We've already had 5 separate tornado warnings. Doppler indicated we've got a flood warning in progress right now. And Debby is still a tropical storm, but on the verge of becoming a hurricane. And look how close it is to our coast right now. And it is starting to bring those onshore winds our way, which are going to cause lots of problems. This is the latest from the National Hurricane Center. It's going to continue to move off to the north. We are starting to see development around the western edge, which had been cut off by a lot of dry air, but things are starting to improve. Here it is Monday morning. I think by 11 o'clock it becomes a hurricane, Category 1, and then by 2 a.m. it's up to 85-mile-an-hour winds. It could be a Category 2 before it makes landfall up there in the Big Bend area around Monday midday, and then it just kind of meanders and could stay right around the southeast for 3 days, and that's going to cause historic flooding throughout that region. We're not done with it. You can see the center of it right there. It is moving northward just in the last hour. You can see that little drift to the northeast, but notice this. This is what I want to show you. This banding feature right here, it's only filling in. We're starting to see lightning too, and that indicates the storms are getting more intense. We had one intense band move through, and now another is on the way. I mentioned that flood warning. That's the biggest issue right now, and let's take a look at that warning and watch at this point. So all the area in green that encompasses all of western Manatee County practically from Palmetto and Rabonia southward all the way down to Venice, that's a flood warning that stays with us until 8 o'clock, and I got a feeling that will be extended as a result of the heavy rainfall out there into the Gulf of Mexico. Take a look at the radar once again. There's the lightning strikes. This is just filling in. If we go and review, you'll see how it's becoming a little bit more intense just in the last hour, and that's because this system is getting stronger and another band behind that. So lots going on. Check out the wind speeds right now, and they're all starting to come out of the south and southwest. These are up to 30 to 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts at times, 43 at Osprey, and you can see down south we also have strong winds in Minnesota Beach, 43 at Boca Grande, and 31 in Venice. This is a look at what those winds are doing, a live look at Anna Maria Island. Look at the wave action out there, and the palm fronds are moving at a big rate, and you know, high tide is going to be a big issue. Leslie Lacey is going to talk more about that in just a little bit. South to southeast winds sustained at 24 miles an hour at the airport. We've already had 40 to 50-mile-an-hour winds reported there. Looking for any kind of tornadic activity right now. Don't see any signatures and don't see any kind of wind shear product out here. Lots of lightning starting to develop near Anna Maria Island. Once again, the tropical satellite imagery is showing a lot of moisture still out here that will be pinwheeling in our direction. Now, we did have a watch, and it's still up. Tornado watches are still up and will stay with us, and that may be extended. The area in yellow means the possibility for isolated tornadoes. And Leslie has much more to tell you about tornadoes and how dangerous they can be and what you can do to protect yourself.
Yeah, you know, we've had several warnings that were issued this morning and today. So I just kind of want to go over again what the difference is between those watches and warnings, so you will know what to do. And if you do hear that we have a watch that's in place, of course, the entire Suncoast area is under a watch currently. All right, so that indicates that there is a hazardous risk for whatever that weather issue may be. In this case, tornadoes, that's what we're talking about. So you got to have a plan in store, okay? So this is a good time to talk to your family about what you want to do. If you hear that there's a warning, that means that the event is occurring, or the radar is picking up there's a tornado, it's been spotted or so forth, and that is when you need to take action to save lives and, of course, your property. So let's talk about tornado safety in general. So let's take a look at this house here. I just want to give you an idea. All houses look different, but in the middle, look at the hall. That would be the safest place because it would be in the interior. So that's where you want to go. You want to stay away from those windows, folks. You want to try to cover yourself. And I always say, if you have a helmet, bike helmet or something, or even your cell phone, take it with you if you have to take cover. Bob?
Just got some breaking news, Leslie, in from the National Weather Service. We're monitoring them, and on top of the problems with tornadoes, the flood warning now has been extended. We said it expires at 8 o'clock. It has been extended. We'll check that out in just a minute. Storm surge warning for Manatee County all the way through Tampa Bay. Storm surge watch south thereof into Sarasota and Charlotte counties. And just as Leslie said, a watch and a warning, different. It's expected here. It could happen here, and I'm not discounting that it won't, into Siesta Key and also into Charlotte Harbor. Let's check those watches and warnings out one more time and see what that new warning is. It has been extended. It's been extended northward throughout the entire Tampa Bay area, and it continues for us here. There are some significant problems with flooding going on, and we'll continue to see that as we see this has now been extended to 9:30. What that means is you should not be driving out there on the roadways. We're going to take a little time here explaining that all the way from South Venice, which includes I-75 all the way over to the Venetian, and then into and around much of east of Bradenton. We are talking Ellington, Palmetto, all the way in through and around Bayshore Gardens. So a flash flood warning is in effect now and has been extended until 9:30. Lots going to be happening throughout the night, and of course we'll bring it to you all right here on ABC 7. Now back to you guys.
Afternoon storms do not have a name attached to them. Please pay attention. This is not just a regular afternoon thunderstorm. As Mayor Brown said, this is going to be a prolonged event. So it is a marathon, not a sprint.
Jody Fisk there, the public safety director for Manatee County, reminding people that there's still a long way to go before we are in the clear. This storm is no joke. ABC 7's Brigham Harris out in the elements in Manatee County all day.
That's right, and he's going to be reporting to us from Holmes Beach.
Hey, Brigham Harris here reporting on Anna Maria Island. Just behind me here is Gulf Drive. That is the southbound direction. Parts of it have been shut off, so us getting to Cortez Bridge is not going to be possible. Lots of other people, I'm guessing, are going to need to take Manatee Avenue to get back to either Sarasota or Bradenton. That is just behind me here. And the reason why I'm going to show you really quickly, just back here, that's a floating trash can that you can see several inches, if not a couple of feet, worth of flooding have taken place so far here on both Bradenton Beach and Holmes Beach. We're going to get back to safety while we can and try to get some more updates for you later on. For now, reporting on Anna Maria Island, Brigham Harris, ABC 7, your local station.
All right, thank you, Brigham. And there are several areas across the Suncoast affected by the storm and dealing with flood waters.
That's right, including right here in Sarasota County. Want to get to ABC 7's Michaela Redmond, who's live at the Sarasota County Emergency Operations Center.
Yes, and she is joined by the Emergency Management Chief in Sarasota's EOC.
Nerissa, Karen, let's waste no time. What can you tell us about how things are in Sarasota County right now?
Yep, so right now we are still under a number of watches and warnings. Namely, we just all got our flash flood warning, and so people should be taking that very seriously in the community. We have a number of flooded roads still from the tropical storm, and you know, even though the storm has passed us, and we still have the outer wind bands that we should be concerned about.
What parts of Sarasota County are more affected or impacted right now?
Yeah, most of the coastal impacts have impacted the roadways that are lined up along the coastline. We have Casey Key Road, the north part of Casey Key Road. We have Minnesota Road. So we do have some that are being impacted, really not only there, but also some inland along the Maca River, and also some of our municipalities. Longboat Key in particular is still experiencing a lot of flooding out there.
Should residents be cautious as we go into the overnight hours?
Absolutely. And again, even though the storm's center has passed us, we can still see a lot of storm surge flooding as the storm is pushing water back down south. And so we really need to be cautious. We could still have some gusts of tropical storm strength. And we want people just to stay safe. Don't be on the roads if you don't need to. Stay safe, stay inside, and definitely don't drive through flooded roads. We had a number of cars stall out on us today of people trying to drive through those flooded roads.
And anything else you want to let the community know?
Well, if you need information on specific road closures or just flooded areas, you can go to our website at scgov.net. There's a full list there. There's a banner at the top you can click on. It has all the information to keep you and your family safe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And reporting in Sarasota County, Michaela Redmond, back to you.
Michaela, thank you. And here's video now from Englewood. More rain flooding roadways underwater. We also see some shining examples of the best of humanity. Here you can see people jumping in to help trap drivers and push them out. ABC 7's Sophia Vitello gives us a tour in storm-hit Minnesota Key.
Gulf waters gushing onto Minnesota Key Road, trapping residents on either side.
And he stopped apparently or slowed down, and now it's stuck and it's buried. It's like it's being stuck in the snow.
Drivers getting stranded one by one. Residents banding together to help.
I almost got stuck myself. Only a real Florida man would try to do that. Exactly.
These bystanders watching trucks test their luck.
You don't have four-wheel drive vehicles, big tires, you're not going to make it. And I barely made it through here. I've been just pumping.
But the water isn't the only problem. There's sand underneath the water. So you're not just dealing with flood water, you're also dealing with that sand. And it's a road that's known for this problem.
County needs to put more money into the road and actually fix it.
Hurricane Idalia ripping through this road too. The county finishing those repairs last October.
Every year they just put the same thing back down, rock and dirt.
These residents want more to be done. In Englewood, Sophia Vitello, ABC 7, your local station.
Incredible video out there, and we want you to be part of our team and get featured on our shows. If you snap some great photos or video of this storm, you can submit them to mysuncoast.com for a chance to be featured online and during our newscast. But remember, be smart when you film and stay safe out there.
And we have made it convenient for you to stay updated on all things weather-related. You can download our ABC 7 First Alert weather app on your mobile phone devices. Let's go back outside right now. We're going to take a live look. This is the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. Yeah, barely recognizable there. Getting very difficult to see the roads on the camera, and I can only imagine if you're driving there too. So do not go out if you can help it. Obviously, this is the reason why. Stay with us. We'll have more on Tropical Storm Debby right after the break.
You tried to have good manners, but hot and juicy beef doesn't seem to care. This is the Quarter Pounder with Cheese Deluxe.
With severe alopecia areata, you can lose your hair. Time felt swept away by hair loss. Now you can regrow your hair with Illumient, the first FDA-approved oral treatment for adults with severe alopecia areata. Just one pill each day may significantly regrow your hair at 36 weeks. Don't start Illumient if you have an infection, as it can lower your ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, blood clots, cancer such as lymphoma and skin cancer, serious allergic reactions, tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results have occurred. People 50 years and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risk of death, heart attack, stroke, and blood clots. It's your hair. Ask your doctor about Illumient.
Hi, my name's Steve. I lost 138 pounds on Golo, and I kept it off. So with other diets, you just feel like you're muscling your way through it. The reason why I like Golo is plain and simple, it was easy. I didn't have to grit my teeth and do a diet. Golo's a lifestyle change, and you make the change, and it stays off. Golo's changed my life in so many ways. I sleep better. I eat better. Took my shirt off in the first time in 25 years. It's Golo. It's all Golo. It's smarter, it's better, it will change your life forever.
With severe alopecia areata, you can lose your hair. Time felt swept away by hair loss. Now you can regrow your hair with Illumient, the first FDA-approved oral treatment for adults with severe alopecia areata. Just one pill each day may significantly regrow your hair at 36 weeks. Don't start Illumient if you have an infection, as it can lower your ability to fight infections, serious, sometimes fatal infections, blood clots, cancer such as lymphoma and skin cancer, serious allergic reactions, tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results have occurred. People 50 years and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risk of death, heart attack, stroke, and blood clots. It's your hair. Ask your doctor about Illumient.
Welcome back. You're taking a live look at the Howard Franklin Bridge. Nerissa, look at this. The waves crashing onto the roads right now. At some point, you could see them. It looks like they're almost covering the cars.
It's getting close there. This is I-275 northbound. If you're coming south from Sarasota and Suncoast area, this is going into Tampa northbound. Look, you see an emergency crew
cars
going out. I hope that's not something because of, well, we don't wish an emergency on anybody, but that, look at the water splashing right onto the Howard Franklin Bridge.
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. The governor advises, Chief Bob, our meteorology team, advises us, stay home. Don't go out if you don't have to, because these are the conditions we're dealing with. We're going to toss back over now to the chief to hear more on that.
You're absolutely right, Nerissa and Karen. What people need to realize is that this is a serious situation. It's not always about the wind, but in that situation, you saw the Howard Franklin Bridge. That emergency personnel will more than likely close that bridge down if that continues like that, because that's just a very dangerous situation. So they may close the bridge down. Keep an eye on that. We are also hearing through the National Weather Service that there are some freshwater rescues being done in Manatee County, southern Manatee County. We're working on that right now to get more information on. You can't hardly see downtown Sarasota. I've got to tell you, looking at the different cameras across our area, this has been the worst part of the storm, and the winds are really starting to pick up. As expected, we're getting that onshore flow now, not impeded by buildings or trees or any kind of structure that would stop that wind, and so it's picking up, and the intensity is picking up. Not the best news. The good news is that we are in low tide or around it. The bad news is we're going to go to high tide tonight at 3 a.m. In the morning on Monday. Look at the winds sustained at 24. That's not a big deal right now, but we are going to see those winds gusting as high as 40 to 50 miles an hour. Look at this feeder band, and this is what we call training, where showers and storms move over the same area repeatedly, and that's why you're seeing the big problem at the Howard Franklin Bridge. You can see that air just piling the water up over the bridge, and that's what we're seeing here now with that southwesterly wind. All day today, it's been out of the east and southeast, and now that wind has changed. Now that the center of low pressure is to our north, we're getting the backside of it, and there had been some dry air that was kind of wrapping into the system. That no longer is a big deal right now, and I want to show you that flood warning. Now, the flood warning is in effect and has been extended, and it's considerable now. They've actually bumped it up a little bit for the intensity, and now Pinellas County and all of Hillsborough, for the most part, western portion of it, in a flood warning, a flash flood warning, and it's considerable. This has now been extended until 9:30, and it could be extended even further as we go along. Get a look at the rainfall estimates already, and as we said, 6 to 8, not out of the ordinary, and we could see some up to a foot. There's already 9 inches of rain near the north end of Longboat Key and also into Anna Maria Island. On top of that, we've had some big rains, even not as much, but still over 6 inches near downtown Sarasota. Lesser amounts as you push inland. Now, the watches and warnings are up. They're going to stay up, too, for tornadoes until 8 o'clock. That's the area in yellow, meaning the potential is there for tornadoes, small ones at that. Speaking of that, we'll go ahead and check the winds out right now and see what they're doing as far as that goes. You can see they're all picking up out of the south, and 40-mile-an-hour winds at Anna Maria Island, tropical storm force there. Not as much inland, obviously. It's a big coastal problem right now. 37 at Minnesota Beach, 46-mile-an-hour right there, and Placida. This is protected a little bit, but boy, if you live on the coast, you're going to get battered by some strong winds. We checked the velocity for the possibility of any kind of couplets. Couplets meaning a wind rotating around, one going toward the radar, one going away from it. And this looks like there might be something here. So tornadoes, water spouts, not out of the question. We've already had a water spout reported just a little bit ago. And get a look at this. An eye is forming from the satellite imagery. This will be a hurricane at the 8 o'clock advisory. And these cloud tops are up to 50 to almost 60,000 feet that you see right there on the right edge heading off to the north. So this is getting stronger as a result of it being over some very warm water in that dry air no longer being entrained into the center of the system, and that's not the best news for us. We're going to continue to see problems with showers and storms moving in, kind of pinwheeling around that system. So first alert weather day, obviously tonight, and even into Monday, we're not done with it. Isolated areas, 10 to 12 inches, and that may go a little bit higher. Isolated tornadoes and a surge up to 2 to 4 feet possible. And now, Leslie, you have all the breakdown of all that stuff right now. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, we talk about storm surge. You know, we're dealing with flood warnings all throughout our coastal areas, and we're also dealing with not only a storm surge watches throughout Sarasota and the counties to the south of us, but a storm surge warning now as well as that flood warning in the Manatee County area. So I just kind of want to let you know what is storm surge, what's going on with it. Well, you've got your normal level, your normal sea level. And then what happens is when Bob was talking about, you know, us being in sort of that dirty side of the storm, that right forward corner where the winds just push around and pinwheel. Well, what that does when you've got those intense winds is it pushes up the storm water, okay? And then when it pushes it up, look at this, 3 feet. And we're looking at a storm surge between, say, you know, 2 and 4 feet. And again, it's a warning in Manatee County. So we're already getting some flooding in that area, and watches again, of course, in the yellow here is where the watches are in the magenta area, all the way stretching up into Pinellas County, into the Tampa Bay area, and even further up into Pasco and to the north. So the high tide is going to be at about 3:15 a.m. So this is very important because that's most of the time that's when people are sleeping, okay? So you have to add the amount of the high tide is going to be about 1.5 feet on to possibly, you know, 2 to 4 feet. So that could take you up, you know, upwards of, you know, 4 to 6 feet total when you add in that extra high tide. So this is actually a map. I'm just kind of zoom in here and kind of show you the areas where we're expecting some of the inundation here. And again, you know, Anna Maria Island's always a hot spot. It sits out there where the geography is. It kind of just, you know, juts out. And you can see, you know, in the blue there, greater than 1 foot, but in the yellow, possibly, you know, up to 3 feet or even more as we head into high tide. And also you can see as we move over, and the Cortez area could be affected as well. And then as I zoom in a little bit further here, you can see over to the east, I'm kind of Palmasola. I don't have my glasses on. I'm going to move down here. Not as affected as much to the south, but nonetheless, Siesta Key and even over at Whitney Beach, expecting storm surge to be possibly, you know, maybe up to 3 feet in that area as well. And even down here in Siesta Key, Lido Key, but it does lessen as we move further to the south. But you want to keep this in mind. Here's a live look now, and this is in the Venice area. And you can see those, you know, those trees just really rocking and rolling there, and the intensity with the waves. And giving you the hour-by-hour forecast, we're not over this. So we've got a long road ahead as we move into the evening. We're going to continue to get showers through the evening. The temperatures, well, they're finally cooled down because we don't have any sunshine, and we've had all this horrible weather here, but some intense winds for us. And then I want to show you right here over at Anna Maria Island. Look to the right, okay? There's a little dock there. It's getting hammered hammered. We got the one on the left, and then we've got a little one on the right, and you can just see pretty intense conditions. And this is actually at the in the Venice area at the Bridge Pier. So looking at the 7-day outlook, again, tomorrow will be another first alert weather day. We will continue to have these bands come through over the next couple of days. Once we get into midweek, it's going to still be windy and breezy. We'll still have some wet weather, but it certainly won't be as intense as it is today and tomorrow. Back to you, Bob.
Thanks for that, Leslie. Yeah, big story is the storm surge. You know, the low tide around now, but a high tide at 3, just after 3, you said. Look at some of these wind projections as we move through the night. At 10 o'clock, we're still talking onshore winds up to 40, 50 miles an hour, and that's going to cause more flooding concerns even at midnight. So it's not over, even though the storm's to our north. We'll have much more news and weather coming up right after this. Stick around.
It's time to lose the weight for good. Try Golo. No subscriptions, just real results that last.
I've lost 70 pounds, 58 pounds, 22 pounds, 128 pounds.
138 pounds in 9 months. Crazy, right?
It's time to put dieting behind you and get your health and vitality back.
Once you start this plan and you do what you are supposed to do, you are going to feel amazing. You're going to have a new life.
Change your life now at Golo.com.
With severe alopecia areata, you can lose your hair. Time felt swept away by hair loss. Now you can regrow your hair with Illumient, the first FDA-approved oral treatment for adults with severe alopecia areata. Just one pill each day may significantly regrow your hair at 36 weeks. Don't start Illumient if you have an infection, as it can lower your ability to fight infections, serious, sometimes fatal infections, blood clots, cancer such as lymphoma and skin cancer, serious allergic reactions, tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results have occurred. People 50 years and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risk of death, heart attack, stroke, and blood clots. It's your hair. Ask your doctor about Illumient.
It's time to lose the weight for good. Try Golo. No subscriptions, just real results that last.
I've lost 70 pounds, 58 pounds, 22 pounds, 128 pounds.
138 pounds in 9 months. Crazy, right?
It's time to put dieting behind you and get your health and vitality back.
Once you start this plan and you do what you are supposed to do, you are going to feel amazing. You're going to have a new life.
Change your life now at Golo.com.
With severe alopecia areata, you can lose your hair. Time felt swept away by hair loss. Now you can regrow your hair with Illumient, the first FDA-approved oral treatment for adults with severe alopecia areata. Just one pill each day may significantly regrow your hair at 36 weeks. Don't start Illumient if you have an infection, as it can lower your ability to fight infections, serious, sometimes fatal infections, blood clots, cancer such as lymphoma and skin cancer, serious allergic reactions, tears in the stomach or intestines, and changes in lab results have occurred. People 50 years and older with at least one heart disease risk factor have higher risk of death, heart attack, stroke, and blood clots. It's your hair. Ask your doctor about Illumient.
All right, what a Sunday, folks.
Yeah, one to remember, you know, tropical storms that can do a lot of and cause a lot of problems, and not just hurricanes, but we're going to keep an eye on this one through the night. Leslie and I will be monitoring it, obviously breaking into programming if need be.
And
Flood warning.
Right there, Leslie, you want to talk about those high wind warnings?
Absolutely. High wind warning on the Skyway Bridge. That's a Howard Franklin Bridge, and you know the Courtney Causeway probably looks a lot worse. They may end up closing these downs. I would not take the bridges. If you can avoid it, don't go out there on the road.
Look at the water spinning off the wheels. I would not want to be driving in that. Stay home, stay safe, be safe, and tune in. We're back at 11. Good night, everyone.